And it's 9 p.m. Hi guys, welcome to another session of Lunch Actually webinar. More than 400 people have already logged in. So welcome. Thank you so much for joining us on time. We are so excited to have you here. And I think those of you, I do see some familiar faces. So we have been doing many webinars recently, and it's interesting, like how during this time it's supposed to be self-isolation, but at the same time, because of this circuit breaker situation, we have been able to connect with all of you a lot more often. So I believe there's always a silver lining in every challenge. So, if similar to us, you have found a way to stay positive and you're loving how we are interacting with you right now, on a weekly basis where we are doing webinars and sharing with you new tips and advice, type in positive in the chat right now. So are you feeling positive? So if you are, share with us, in the chat. Tell us if you're positive. Yay. I see Yvonne saying, yes, loving the webinars. Yes, Coco, Sophie, AB. Yeah, I see a lot of people saying that they are feeling positive. Yes, and some of you very creative. You put the positive sign. Joey, yes. Mike, yes, awesome. Thank you, guys. So thank you so much. I mean, we are loving the positive energy that you guys, give to us as well. And that's why we are so excited to be doing our webinars week after week. So a quick intro, for those of you who might not have met me. So my name is Violet. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Lunch Actually, or you might also know me as the Chief Cupid. Yes, so very excited to be with you here again to moderate this session as well as be the host of today's session. So, of course, other than being an entrepreneur, a certified matchmaker, I also have done a TED Talk as well. So you can check that out. And if you would like to know a bit more about what I've been up to, you can also follow me on Facebook on /AsiaLoveGuru and also on Instagram, which is Violet Lim. So I have been doing a lot of different webinars as well, other than the ones that, I've been sharing here. So please feel free to follow me and we can interact from there as well. So I believe that, a lot of you are also new to our business or our company. So I'd just like to give you a very quick intro of what we do. So Lunch Actually is the, first lunch leading agency in Singapore as well as in most of the cities that we are in. So we have been around for 16 years. We have presence in 5 different locations: Singapore, Malaysia, Hong Kong, Indonesia, and Thailand. And we have quite a number of dating products as well. And other than that, just want to share a bit more about, how we go about doing what we do. So our philosophy is like, we want to help people to, of course, find the right one. But a lot of singles, when they come to us, they are very focused on just meeting the right one. But we realize that finding the right one is not just about meeting the right one, but it's also about being the right one as well as choosing the right one. And that's the reason why we have been so enthusiastic about having such webinars, because we really want to help everybody to, I would say, bring your mindset as well as your skill set to the next level so that you can increase your chances of finding the right one. So our dating programs, what we do is that we have a consultation where our consultants will get to know you a bit better, who you are, your dating history, your challenges, as well as your goals. And after that, our matchmakers will actually match you based on your profile and preferences. And after that, of course, that's where the fun part happens, where you actually go on your dates. So right now, we are not, of course, we can't arrange face-to-face dates because of the circuit breaker as well as the CMCO in Malaysia. So we are actually arranging virtual dates, yes. And other than that, we also have a very comprehensive coaching program as well. So, I think some of you already have worked with our date coach, Angela, who will be sharing today. So our date coaching program entails, helping you to improve your conversation skills. So that's one of the things that we are doing here. WhatsApp critique, how to accelerate and be in a committed relationship. So other than that, our date coaching program also have image coaching as well, because we believe it's very important to always put your best foot forward. So, we do color analysis, we do wardrobe audit. And I just want to share a very exciting news with you. So you guys actually are one of the first people to actually hear about this. So we are going to launch our app very soon. So our upcoming app is very exciting because, how we are all now talking about digitalization. So we are very excited to also bring digitalization to Lunch Actually as well. So with the upcoming app, you'll be able to book your profiling session. You can connect with your persona dating consultant, matchmaker, or coach. And of course, you can view your matches, you can check your upcoming dates, and even provide your date feedback all on the app itself. So who's excited to, find out more about the app? Who would like to be notified when the app is coming up? Yeah, let us know. And of course, you can also get dating tips and advice as well. So we have July who say, me. Yes, so all of this is coming up really soon. We are very excited as well because we really want to be providing more value to our members, more value to singles out there. So we believe that, just like the entire world is moving on digitalization, it's very important that we are doing it as well. Yes. So I want to do a very quick poll to find out whether this is the first time you're attending our webinar. So I'm going to launch it now, and I hope to see, all of you participating. Yep. So yes, the replies are coming in very quickly. Yep. So more than 50% have already replied. So you have not, please do so. Yes. Thank you for replying. Yeah, so quite a balance. So so far we have about 35% who say that this is the first time they are joining us on a webinar, and quite a number of you have attended more than one, and we have 4% of you, which currently is about 17 of you who have actually attended all 5 of our webinars. Oh my goodness, like that's super awesome. Thank you so much for your support. Okay, so I'm just going to end the poll, and then you can see the results as well. Okay, so my second question is of course pertaining to today's topic, right? So to help our panelists to, of course share, like even more specifically, we would like to hear about what is your main texting challenge. Okay, so I would launch our second poll right now. Yes, so please share with us what is your main texting challenge. Yep, so I see the answers coming in. Wow, okay, like it's like stock market, it's like moving, everything is moving. I can't see a pattern yet. Okay, I think starting to see a bit of a pattern. Okay, so the pattern is a lot of you say all of the above. Okay, but I think other than all of the above, the highest one so far is I see that I often run out of topics to talk about. Okay, so more than 70% of you have voted. If you have not voted, do vote. Yes, we really would like to hear from you. So, okay, the first one, the biggest one at 26% is I often run out of topics to talk about. And then we have the second one, which is I don't know how to flirt or express my interest, followed by the people I'm texting with would take hours to reply. Okay, that's great because you are at the right place, because these are all the things that we are going to be addressing today. Diva and Angela, they have been preparing very hard to, like share with you a lot of details about how to do some of these things. Okay, I'm going to share the results with you. Yeah, so you can have a quick look. Yep, so and I also want to just remind everybody, do stay till the end of the webinar because we have something very special prepared for you. And I know that some of you have attended all our webinars in the past. So not to worry, we are not sharing the same thing. So do stay till the end because we want to make sure that you have a chance to get this very special gift that we have prepared for you. So now let's get right down to our topic of the day. Okay, so who is excited? Who is excited? Okay, who is excited to get started right now? Let us know, let us know. Say yes, 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 yes. Yeah, okay, awesome. Yes, Debbie, Eddie, Gerald, Esther, Christine. Yeah, go, 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 go. Yes. Okay, so the topic for today is 5 irresistible texting secrets to get a reply every time. And this is a very, very hot topic. And that's why, like we are so excited to have so many of you here. And I also have 2 dating experts with me. And both of them, like put together, they probably have met hundreds, if not thousands of singles. And they have helped these thousands of singles overcome their dating challenges, including texting. Okay, who has challenges with texting? Tell us. Yeah, let us know. Say yes, 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 texting. Yes, I think, like a lot of, yeah, a lot of us have problems with texting. So, okay, I shall not, keep you hanging. Okay, so let me introduce to you our 2 panelists for tonight. So first off, I would like to welcome back Angela. So Angela, maybe you would like to just introduce yourself because I'm sure a lot of them already know you, but I think there's a lot of newcomers here as well. So, please introduce yourself.
Okay, hello, how are you doing? So thanks for having me back. So this is my second time sharing in this webinar. So I'm Angela. I have been a senior date coach in Lunch actually for 6 years. So my role is basically to analyze where and what the dating obstacles each single is facing and help them to overcome them. I'm happy to say that I have brought together more than 40 couples.
Awesome. Thanks, Angela. So, I mean, I'm sure out of the 40 couples that you brought together, there are some that is super memorable or like some coaching experiences that's very, very memorable to you. Would you like to share that with our participants?
Definitely. I have quite a number of like memorable coaching clients. I remember this guy came to me and said that he went on more than 10 dates, but unable to get any second date. So we did a role play in conversation and realized that he can't stop talking. And later he shared that like he has a learning disability and unable to control his speech. So during our coaching session, we practice on pausing. We did that for many, many sessions. And of course, I am unable to cure him because I'm not a speech therapist. But at least he become more mindful, pausing in conversation. And a few months later, he got attached.
Wow, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Angela. And of course, we have another of our speaker today, and she is Diva. Welcome, Diva.
Hello, hi everyone. My name is Diva. I actually work in the KL office of Lunch actually. So hello to all the Malaysians that are tuning in. So in Lunch actually, I've been a senior dating coach for over 4 years now, and I've met singles every day. So more or less, I understand about their dating profiles and challenges. And ideally, my goal is to help them find their Mr. and Miss Right.
That's awesome, Diva. And similar to Angela, I'm sure you have brought together many, many couples. So can you share with us, one of your most memorable couple that you brought together, or maybe one of your clients that you have helped?
Yes, okay, so definitely, I think over the years there are quite a number, but there is this client that I met sometime early this year, and he's actually an introvert and he's very reserved even during our consultation session. So he went on a couple of first dates, and soon he realized he actually needs coaching session because he understood his challenge was to keep the conversation going. So during the coaching session, we identified that the root cause was his shyness. It was actually based on fear of rejection. So having said that, we actually worked on his communication skills, which ultimately boosts his confidence level. So good news is recently we found out that he's attached as well. Personally, as a dating consultant, I feel very happy seeing his progress and how far he has come in his dating journey with us.
Wow, thank you, Diva. I got goosebumps just listening to your sharing. So thank you so much to both our panelists for sharing, and I'm sure our participants can't wait to hear more tips from both Angela and Diva. So if you're ready to hear from them, type love right now in the chat to encourage both my panelists. So yeah, let me see your love, 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 love. Yes, Patrick. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Esther, Sean, AP, Daniel. Thank you, guys. Okay, so many singles have challenges in texting because they feel that they can only communicate with words, and you can't show like body language, facial expression, or even, like have a play of touch when you go on a physical date with someone. But now with most of us using dating apps, and especially now when we are still in a circuit breaker or MCO, when we can't meet our date in person, texting is extremely important to keep the conversation going between you and your crush. I mean, don't you agree? So many people usually come to me and say, Violet, I'm not a good texter. And it's true, I understand, a lot of people, texting doesn't come naturally to them. And of course, texting requires skills as well, especially when it comes to texting for dating. So I know some of the singles that come to me and say, Violet, you mean I have to learn how to text as well? Yeah, so fortunately or unfortunately, yes, I think, a lot of us might have been blue ticked and we might not know how to continue that conversation. So not to worry, because we have two experts with us today. We have Angela and Diva, who will be sharing with us the 5 irresistible tricks. Okay, so Angela, you want to share with us the first secret of how to text to always get a reply?
Sure. Okay, so the first strategy is mirroring. So mirroring is the proven technique to build relationships and allow people to feel more comfortable around you. So it means like when they ask you a question, you mirror it and ask a question back. And when they use emoticons, you use emoticon in your reply. So think of a conversation is like playing ping pong. So that's how you keep the conversation going. Okay, let's take a look of this example. So in my reply, I copy the usage of the smiley face and use the same pattern. Answer first and then ask. Okay, so I will have to try it. Uchi for me, that spicy, crunchy tuna roll. What about drinks, coffee or tea?
Yeah, thank you for that, Angela. And I think mirroring is so important because, when we meet in person, we usually would mirror the person as well. Because, like when people see that you are acting the same way as them, then it immediately increase the level of, I would say, attraction. So for example, when we go on a real date, like when the person kind of like lean to their, okay, like I'm not sure you see me to your left or right now. So, we mirror the person, or the person like lean in, will lean in as well. But of course, during texting, we are not able to do that. So I think what Angela is sharing is that we can also mirror the way how the person texts. So I think, like other than what she have just shared, which is using like the same smiley face or the same pattern, it's also, if the person is like writing very long, you also might want to write a longer text. If the person is writing a shorter text, you want to write a shorter text as well. If not, it will be very unsync. Yeah. So I think, one of our viewers have participants have said, oh, I've been doing this unconsciously. That's awesome, because like I think sometimes when we are very in sync with like the person that we are communicating with, we do mirror them unconsciously as well. So Diva, I believe you have the second strategy for us.
Yes, okay. So for the second strategy, I always share with singles is to keep your text fun and lighthearted. Okay, reason being is because just like on a date, right, the one thing that would turn most people off would be negativity. Nobody likes someone who always complain, air their unhappiness, and be negative. So I think it applies, same thing for texting as well, especially when you're still in that getting to know each other phase. It would be good to focus on positive things that brings out your best qualities. Okay, so I do have an example that I would like to share. Here you can see there's good example versus bad example. So in the good example part, the conversation started with mutual interest, okay, talking about the song, the album, and eventually it led on to keeping it light, where the guy managed to ask the girl out on a second date. Okay, so this way he managed to secure his second date successfully. So as for the bad example, this is someone who is badgering the person in that sense. Why didn't you answer any of my previous texts? Okay, so right now this person may appear needy and desperate as well. So this is not a very good impression that you want to send a person that you're interested in, because it may feel like you're questioning them.
Thank you so much, Diva, for sharing that. And I totally agree. So I would like to also share something about EBA. Okay, so everybody write EBA. Okay, who wants to know what EBA stands for? Yes, EBA. EBA. Yes. Yeah. Okay, so EBA, not EBA, EBA. Yeah, so boy, EBA. EBA stands for emotional bank account. So emotional bank account applies during texting as well. Because when you first get to know the person, it's like your EBA with each other will be zero because you know nothing about each other. So in the beginning, it's, just like how you put money into your bank account, right? Similarly, when we meet someone, we need to fill up that emotional bank account. We need to keep on putting positive things into the account so that later on, when we start review things that are not so positive, then we don't end up being negative. We don't end up be like a minus or even in zero. So for example, like, share about your passions, your interests, what makes you happy, your dreams, your positive values. So all these are positive things that you can share with your crush when you start to text. Of course, the more you talk, you could discover that you have differences in views. I mean, that's how it is. We can't all like the same thing. And there might be things that you may not agree with as well. So when you start talking about your insecurities or even about your past relationships, and that would maybe deduct from your EBA, your emotional bank account, and that's normal. But the key is it's so important to keep building enough positives at the start and along the way. So I totally agree with what Diva has shared just now, that it's very important that we keep the conversation light and fun, and also show your sense of humor, and don't take yourself too seriously, because like just laughing at yourself is a very attractive trait for both men and women. Yeah, and Angela, I believe you have the third strategy that you want to share with our participants.
Yes. So third method is always give the other party the chance to reply with a leading question. So, and try not to give like too many one-word answers. I remember I have had clients who come to me on a coaching session and ask like, how come her date take many hours or even days to reply? So we look at her message together and realize that most of her own replies were one-word answers, and she doesn't even realize that. Okay, so even if your date is interested in you, they would eventually get tired because every time they always have to start a new conversation. So make things easier for them and also for yourself by replying to their message and ending it with a leading question. Okay, so in this example on the left, they are talking about dessert. Okay, so after sharing your own favorite, end it with a leading question. What's your favorite? So it's easier for them to reply and continue the conversation. Right-hand side is a bad example. So this person just give one-word answers, just okay, is all right, sometimes. So it is very difficult for the other party to continue.
Thank you very much, Angela. So, okay, to be, let's be honest now, okay? Who has done this before? Any of you who have done this one-liners, you know, when people ask you a question, then you say, okay, lor, it was all right, sometimes. Okay, be honest. Okay, so some of you say me, some of you say I did, some say rarely, some say never, I don't do that. Okay, thank you guys for being honest. So I think, you know, at least from here, you know what is some of the things that you can do. Definitely don't give one word answers or like, you know, just question that will just lead people to say yes and no, because then the conversation will just stop there. You know, like do what Angela has just mentioned, ask leading questions, you know, like so that the person can elaborate on it and you can have a much more interesting conversation from then on. Okay, Diva, I believe you have the fourth tip for us.
Okay, so this tip is actually one of my favorites. The fourth tip would be to use emojis. Okay, why? My advice is that even though it's texting and you can't see each other, it doesn't mean that you can't be expressive and lively to showcase your personality. I think that should be something that translates into texting as well. So make use of emojis like smiley face, laughing face, because these are there to show the other person that you're feeling, you know, in that moment to engage with a date and make the conversation more interesting. Okay, so it doesn't hurt if you can also use kissy face or emoji face to flirt through text, which we will get on to later as well. Okay, so I do have an example here. So if you guys can see, this is someone who has been going on for about 6 to 7 dates already. So the girl said, I had a dream about you. And so the guy asked, what was I doing? Was I riding a stegosaurus? So she said, no, I can't honestly remember all of it, but we were cuddling. And he said, oh, well, I'm disappointed about the lack of dinosaurs in your dreams. And she replied, I'm sorry, with a sad face. So as you can see, the emojis actually brought out a bit more of feelings, and also it was a bit cheeky over there.
Yeah, okay, thank you, Diva. I thought there was a really cute conversation going there. And I totally agree that it's so important to use emoji. So I do use a lot of emoji as well, even when I'm talking to my team members, because I think, you know, when you use emoji, it's so much more approachable and the person will also know how you're feeling and they also feel more comfortable. So if you think about it, you know, like 4 words, thank you very much, okay? It can mean a lot of different things. It can be like, yes, you're very thankful, you know, you're showing gratitude. It could also be like come across as passive aggressive, you know, like pegro, if, you know, there's no emojis, because the person are like, are you trying to be sarcastic? You know, like, are you like really thanking me? But if you put an emoji behind it, then it's very clear that it is supposed to be something that you are showing gratitude. So I definitely would highly encourage you guys, you know, when you are texting to use emoji. And I actually have the 5th tip for you, which is, you know, after you have been conversing for a while, it's really important to take it a lot deeper, because, you know, you have built the initial rapport like over texting. And my 5th tip is that initiate a video call, because, you know, right now, obviously, we are unable to meet face to face yet. So, you know, like take it off text by initiating a video call, because video dates are actually a great way to firstly show that you are interested, to find out a bit more about the person. And it's also another way to just spend more time and to just build a bond with the person. And definitely definitely, you know, when you're doing a video call, you can talk more, you can see each other's facial expression, so you don't have the problem with the no emojis problem, and you can build more attraction as well. And in the last couple of months, we actually have successfully arranged many virtual dates for our clients, and a lot of them have actually enjoyed it very much, and some of it even lasted for hours. And for those of you in Singapore, you might have just read the article in Straits Times yesterday, where some of the journalists actually tried out virtual dates arranged by us, and the journalist as well, he went on a date that lasted for more than 4 hours, and he had a really great time. So, you know, beside like talking, you can also do things like playing games together. You can use the house party app, or those of you who like to sing, you can use like the Trend Ming Party app as well. So it's just so many things you can do once you take it offline, which is, you know, into virtual dates. So I highly encourage you guys to do that. Yep. So it has been, wow, time flies. It has been 25 minutes, and we have so many more tips to share. So I'm going to do what we call a quick fire round. I'm going to be asking some quick questions, and we would like to hear more tips from Angela and Diva. Okay, so my first question is, how can a singer be a more interesting texter? So I believe that, you know, some of our participants have been asking this question as well. They're like, oh, you know, like I don't have questions to ask. I'm not sure what to say. Yes, so Angela, I believe you have some great examples and tips for them.
Okay, like what Diva say, testing should be about having fun. So be playful and don't be too logical. Because when you are logical, there is a good chance you would end up like Q&A. Okay, so you want to get them smiling and laughing when they see your reply. Okay, so you can also use like punctuation or even bold letters to make your text like instantly feel more energetic and interesting. Okay, so let's take a look of this example. So biggest fear, spinach, slicks, or saying you too when the waiter tells you to enjoy your meal. So this helps to build laughter. Okay, right hand side is an example using bold letters and punctuation to make it instantly more fun to read.
Yeah, thank you, Angela, for that. I think that's really cute. So, you know, like the biggest fear, asking the person, you know, like all the different things that they could answer. So if you would like to, you know, have more of these kind of questions, you can just Google like this or that. So, you know, there's just a lot of different questions out there. And, you know, like what Angela has said, is really about being, not being too logical, because I think sometimes if every time when we message the person, it's like, hello, you know, good morning, good night, you know, like, have you had your breakfast, lunch, dinner, what do you have? Then it's just going to be same old, right? So just mix it up a bit. Like, and you know, like I say, the internet, you can always just search for different things, you know, to just have fun when you are texting. So another question that I have is, you know, because when we are texting, like sometimes it's very quick, and then we might end up having like spelling mistakes, or even we don't use the correct grammar. So I just want to hear from our experts today, you know, like how important is it to have grammar, to use the correct grammar when it comes to texting? What do you think, Diva?
Okay, so I personally think grammar is very important. Why? Because you don't want to appear like you're unintelligent or lazy, or you don't care when it comes to putting in the effort to text. So ideally, it would be good to at least show that you care. So let's take a look at the example that we have here. Hey, what are you doing? So it's not very appealing as well. And the other person said about to throw a dictionary at your face. Okay, so the next example that we can see would be, this would be a good one, because as you can see, spelling is there, grammar is there, and even the punctuation, everything is right as well.
Yep. So I think, you know, something like maybe singers might have the challenge with. So maybe you can share with me, okay? Like, do you all have the challenge? So like the challenge is to put a full stop or not to put a full stop. Okay, so let's hear from our participants. So do you all usually use full stop when you text? Yes, yes, no, no. Okay, so we have yes, no, no full stop, yes. Sometimes my style, sometimes exclamation, unnatural, no, yes, but sometimes forget what is a full stop. Okay, thanks guys. Okay, thanks for your participation. So I would say, you know, it really depends. So personally, I don't use full stops when I do casual text, but of course, you know, if I text to someone that maybe I'm doing a business deal with or something, or it's the first time that we are getting to know each other, then yes, you know, I would really use the very proper language. I would say for dating, it's like sometimes if you use full stop, you might come across as overly formal. So I think that's something to think about. Of course, it also depends on the person that you are dating. I mean, if the person is very particular about language, then they might be like looking at your sentence and like, why are you not putting a full stop? But generally, I would say for casual conversations, maybe not a full stop. And I think the other thing to also think about is that how you're also putting your emojis. So again, you know, depending on your age group and also the age group that you're looking to date as well, because the way that you do your emojis would also give your age away. So let's see some of you do your emojis. Yeah, if you do a smiley face, how would you do it? Let's just see your smiley faces. Okay, so quite a number of you do your smiley face like me, so maybe we are in the same age group. So those of them who are like maybe like in my kids age group or the younger age group, they actually do a smiley face differently. So instead of putting the colon, the semicolon first, they actually put it the other way around. So just something for you to think about as well, because how you do your smiley face would also, you know, give away your age group. Okay, so I think that's super awesome, and thanks guys for participating. Oh, I love 017018. Your smiley face is very cute. That's how my daughter usually does her smiley face. Yeah, so my daughter is 11 years old. So you're very in sync with all the different age groups. Awesome. So okay, I think another question that I've seen our participants ask just now as well. So how can a single flirt through text? Okay, so I think this is very, very important. How can you flirt through text? Yes, Angela.
Yes, there are many ways to flirt, but let me share with you two of my favorite methods. So first, teasing. So teasing means like making fun or disturbing someone in a playful and non-hurtful way. Okay, so in this example, both of them are teasing each other. So look at this yummy ramen I'm eating now, your favorite, jealous. So you know they like it and you are teasing them they can't have it. Okay, so they reply, you sure you just eat one bowl? Looks like you need at least 10 bowls to be full. So teasing the other person is a big eater with cheeky emoticons. And then reply with 3 punches and LOL, indicated that you are annoyed but at the same time still laughing. So both of them having fun and the chemistry is in the air. Okay. Second method, imply they like you. So you imagine or playfully accuse them like you. Okay, even though you know that you are the one who likes them. Okay. So example, when they ask you what have you been up to, this is a common conversation starter for some people. So rather than telling them what exactly you are doing, you can turn it into a flirting message. So saying, haha, why are you asking? You want to ask me out? So this helps to build chemistry. You may even get a real date.
Yeah, thank you, Angela, for that. And I just want to say that, you know, these tips that Angela is giving to you, it definitely works, because just a couple of days ago, I was speaking with one of the clients. So she told me that she has just gone on a coaching session with Angela. And she said that before that, you know, when she was going on dating apps, the guys usually don't ask for her contact. They don't usually take it off from the dating app. But after going on a coaching session with Angela, and Angela was, you know, just looking through what she's typing on the dating app, immediately, you know, gave her some great tips. And she said, yeah, you know, I'm getting responses and guys are actually now asking for my number and we're actually taking it offline. And Angela, I believe you have also like taught this, you know, imply that your date likes you to a lot of your clients, right? And like a lot of them have actually succeeded from there. You want to maybe share some examples?
Yes, definitely. So I remember like this client of mine, so she just mostly her message would be like very logical. So by using imply, they like you, so you are becoming logical in a way, but in a joking way lah. So usually that make the other person feel, hey, how come you say something like that? Okay, and that indirectly build the chemistry there.
Thank you, Angela. And I also really like the ramen conversation that Angela was sharing with just now. So I think the idea is really you want to be putting a smile on your date's face, you know, or like, you know, your crush's face. So when the person look at your text, they will actually smile. I think if you manage to get them to smile, like looking at your text, then you have succeeded. So I mean, again, obviously, like normal things that we say, you know, have you eaten and things like that, that's not going to do it. So I think, you know, really have it in mind. How are you going to have a message or an image or just something to be able to evoke emotions from them? So I think that's really what we would like to highly encourage you to do. Okay, so I think also some of you have been asking, you know, what are some of the openers that a singer can say when they want to start a conversation with someone that they like? So Diva, over to you.
Okay, so I think if you like someone and you want to leave an impression, it would be good not to just say hi or how are you. After all, it can be quite difficult to reply if this is a daily thing and, you know, you were to reply, I'm good, thanks, and you. So eventually the messages will probably fade out in a few days, as both of you will feel bored to continue. So if you already know the person, it's good to use a topic that you previously talked about. So for example, we can see over here, this person is using a previous topic to reconnect by saying that you're right, that show that you told me to watch is really good. I just watched it and I was biting my nails while watching it with a smiley face. It was so intense. So this is a good way to start a conversation instead of the traditional hi, hello, how are you today? Okay, so the next one, my personal favorite one would be random. Okay, so I think being random showcase your humorous personality and you're doing something out of the box. So it's like what Violet said earlier, the this or that question. So like this person is actually asking peanuts or almonds, and she replied almonds 100%. I'm actually allergic to peanuts. So he said, oh shoot, so you're telling me Reese's aren't a part of your life, with a shocked emoticon. And she said, haha, no, unfortunately, with a crying face. So this way, at least, you know, he knows what she's allergic to and what she likes.
Yeah, thank you, Diva, for sharing that. So I think it's really important to also use text that would create a vivid image. So like what Diva has shared just now, you know, like, oh yeah, the show that you told me to watch is really good. I've watched it and I was like biting my nails while watching it. So, you know, when you read such a text, immediately it creates that image in your head. And as a result, you know, like you make yourself more memorable as well. So when you're typing out text, you know, always think, how are you going to tell a story? How are you going to create an image? And I think that's definitely a great start, you know, to having a more interesting conversation with your date. Okay, so the next one, which I think a lot of singers are probably curious about, because, you know, like nowadays, like they are probably texting so many people, like texting all the time. So the question is, what are some of the most common mistakes that singers make when it comes to texting, Angela?
Okay, most common I would say would be some people are waiting for more than a day before replying to the message. So if you are too passive, so they would just, I think you are not interested, and people would just move on very fast. So if you are busy working during the day and only can reply, let's say 6 hours later, you can simply say, sorry, I was busy earlier, and continue the conversation there. Okay, in contrast, if they have not replied to you yet, don't double text. Okay, don't chase for a reply or ask them if they have seen your message. Be patient. If they are ready and interested, they will get back to you and continue the conversation. You don't want to appear aggressive or desperate. Okay, so here are some bad examples. So this person say, hey, you aren't reading my messages. I hate being ignored, yet you are still online. Okay. Right hand side is another example. You went silent. Okay, when the other party not replying fast enough. So don't do that.
Thank you, Angela, for sharing that. Yeah, I think, like, you've also shared with me the last time, like some of the ways to kind of turn this around. So rather than, doing exactly what these two people are doing, which is kind of scary, like, I mean, the person will be thinking we are not even exclusive, we are not even boyfriend or girlfriend, and then you are like just chasing me down and hounding me, they will be like totally scared, right? Yeah, so I believe like, there was an example that, you have shared with me as well, like how to kind of turn that around.
Okay, so if you already sent it, okay, then the best is to like just hold back lah. Okay, usually people will still reply because they want to be polite. But even like one message like this, it may ruin everything lah. Okay, so what to do is don't just wait it out. Okay, if you already sent something, just wait it out. If it has to be like 2 days, 3 days, wait for it. Okay. However, if you're really interested in the other party, I would say wait at least like 3 days or up to 1 week. Okay, to send another message.
Okay, thank you so much, Angela. Diva, I think you have some tips for our participants as well in terms of the most common mistakes that singles make.
Okay, so on my side, usually what clients have shared with me based on my experience is texting without a purpose. So when you're texting without a purpose, your conversation, I mean, highly likely it will die in very short period of time, maybe even 5 minutes time. So it's good to have an intention when you're about to text the person. So here we have an example. This person said Lucio, and he replied sup. And then she said, sup, what's that? So as you can see, this is going a bit like there's no direction towards this text message. It's not going to leave a very good impression. So chances are the attraction level won't be very high as well. Okay, so the next one I would say would be being vague when the other person is trying to make plans. Okay, so we can see in terms of the woman here, she said, sure, just write me spontaneously on weekend and let's see. So she left it very open, and the guy didn't want that. So he said, haha, don't want to sound German, but better planning. How's your Friday? Because when you are being too vague and you say things like, let's see, it doesn't show that you're putting in initiative. Neither are you excited to meet up. And again, your attraction level with each other might just go downhill.
Thank you, Angela and Diva, for your sharing. I mean, like, there's awesome insights. And I think, a lot of our participants have shared here as well. Like Vignesh said that was useful. And I think, like some of the other participants have said that, oh my goodness, I didn't even know I was doing that. Thanks for pointing that out. So, like definitely, lots of great insights from both your sharing. And I think sometimes we just don't realize what we are doing. And we just need, like a third party, someone else to really point out our blind spots. So who have, like learned something so far? Like, you have learned some great tips that you can use immediately in your texting. Let us know right now. So you have learned something so far, say yes. Yeah, so Sherry say me, Eddie, yes, Sean, Cindy, Chong, Nadia, Amy, yeah, so Jig say very applicable. Leo, Lynn, yes, awesome, thanks guys. So I also have something to share with regards to a mistake that singles tend to make as well, which is sending too many selfies. Okay, so I think sometimes like we take nice photos for our Instagram and things like that, and we thought like, oh, like maybe I should just send more selfies to the person that I'm meeting as well. It might not be very good if it's not asked for, and the person might think like, okay, why are you sending me all of these photos? So I would say, don't overdo it, unless, like the person say, oh, like, send me a photo or something, don't overdo it. But the other part is, it's good to send photos sometimes. For example, I think like Angela was sharing just now where, like, let's say you are eating a bowl of ramen and it's something that both of you guys have talked about previously in one of your previous texts, then yes, it's very applicable. Or maybe, like you happen to like watch a movie that, you talk about before, then like these photos would be very applicable. But I think too much selfies is definitely definitely no. And of course, the other one, Angela has already covered just now, which is don't keep hounding the person. And I think the other one is also stop asking about the person's whereabouts. It's very creepy. So, you know, if like the person don't answer, please stop saying like, where are you? Why are you not answering? It's very, very creepy. So I think like what Angela and Diva have shared with us is good to sometimes to just, you know, like chill out, take it cool, because sometimes, you know, it's like after you have already sent a message to the person and the person is not replying. So, you know, like the movie, it says maybe they are just not that into you right now. And I think that's okay. Yeah, you know, so just move on, you know, or like just give it a bit of time. And, you know, there are so many different fishes, you know, in the pond as well. So I think it's important to just chill it. Okay, so we are at 9:43 right now. Oh my goodness, you know, like time really flies when we are having fun, and we still have so many questions. So I'll just very quickly, you know, like go into some Q&A that we have received previously. So we might not do all of them because we know a lot of you have asked us live questions as well, but I think this one is really important. So this one is about how to deal with ghosting. So I think ghosting, blue tick is like something that happens all the time when it comes to texting. So I think Angela, you know, like you have some tips for us with regards to this.
Okay, so if you are talking to enough people, most likely you would experience being ghosted 1 or 2 times. It's absolutely normal. So if it happens only 1-2 times, don't worry about it. It may not be your problem because it could be just they are not ready. Okay, so however, if like someone ghosted you before, there is a much higher chance that like it will happen again. Okay, so always maintain your own expectation. Then you won't get too disappointed like if that happens. Good thing is you won't be ghosted by every person you meet. So use the technique we mentioned earlier, like asking leading question, flirt a little bit, don't chase for the reply. That should minimize your chance of being ghosted.
Thank you, Angela. So we have some participants who say, what is ghosting? First time hearing. Okay, so as the word suggests, or maybe Angela, you would just want to explain what is ghosting very quickly.
Okay, sure. I'm sorry about that. Like ghosting is a common term that when we are talking to a person for a period of time, but all of a sudden the person disappear, vanish without any explanation, which is very common in text message.
Okay, thank you for that. Okay, so we have another question here, which is about cheesy pickup lines. Okay, so sometimes I use cheesy pickup lines such as, if the coronavirus doesn't take you out, may I? Or there's a problem with my phone, it doesn't have your number in it. Well, you get the gist. Sometimes it makes the girl laugh, sometimes it doesn't. So question is, when faced in such a situation when the girl is not responsive, should I continue to be persistent or just move on? Diva, so over to you.
Okay, so the thing about pickup line, it can go 2 ways. So a pickup line is actually meant to be a conversation starter that is usually funny, complimentary, and flirtatious. And sometimes it can be silly, cheesy, and counterproductive as well. So it really depends how one uses it. Based on the ones that given above, it's very generic. So ideally, it would be good to give them some space first. But if you're really interested in the person, you can maybe send a meme just to save the whole situation. But if not, then just leave it first. Because if you're not very keen, then I don't think you should push the person, because your impression would just not be very good as well.
Okay, thank you, Diva. Okay, so moving on to the live questions that you guys have sent us. So one of the questions that we have received is, how do you know if the other person is A, a bad texter, or B, not interested in you? So Angela, what do you think?
Okay, if you already know the person, then you also can base on the conversation you have with them to determine that are they fun to talk to, or are they usually quite monotone, or when they answer your question face to face also don't say much. Okay, so this is one clue. However, my advice would be just doesn't matter how the other party responds to you, like, even though it's a one-word answer or it's just a smiley face or haha. Okay, just do your 100%. Still continue as per normal. Still be fun and don't worry or don't read into their short reply too much lah. Okay, because I have met a lot of clients they it could be because that particular moment they are busy and then they want to reply you fast, so they end up like sending just okay, but they actually like interested in you lah. So don't read into things too much, but do continue as per normal.
Thank you, Angela. I think that's great advice. So, Diva, I have a question here for you. Should a lady initiate a video call after texting for a while? If no, how should we hint the guy to do the video call instead?
I think it's good. I mean, if it's after a while, it's fine to initiate a video call because it shows that you are actually keen and you are not afraid. So it's okay to be bold instead of feeling all traditional. But if not, then maybe you can ask the person straight away, like, would you be open for a video call, and see what is his response like.
Yep, thank you for that, Diva. Okay, I think a quick one here. What if you're too busy in work and you totally forgot to reply the messages? So I think, like what Angela has mentioned just now, honesty is always the best policy. If you are not able to reply to them earlier, and it's not because, you were trying to ghost them or blue tick them, just be upfront about it. And I think the lady would really appreciate that, because at least she now know that you are not like trying to ghost her or things like that. So definitely, just be upfront about that. And we have another question. How long should we wait for their reply? How do we know whether that person is not interested in us or just plain busy? Angela?
Okay, my advice would be, if you already send a message today, don't send anything else the same day. Okay, you can, if it is the first time the other party no reply, my suggestion is that the next day you can start a new topic. Don't ask like, hey, did you see my message? Act it like it doesn't bother you at all, even though you have been waiting for a day lah. Okay, so next day start a new topic. Okay, if touch wood, if the other party is still not replying, you can give it another go, maybe 1 week later lah. Okay, so at least I try 3 times, especially for guys.
Yep. Thank you, Angela. Another question here. Will replying almost instantly make a guy seem desperate? It's my habit to reply almost instantly. Diva, any thoughts?
I don't think it means desperate. I think it means that you're keen, and it's a good way to keep the momentum going, because now both of you are online. So it's good to have the back and forth thing, rather than few hours later, then you might be doing something else and the conversation is jumping up and down.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that sometimes, like playing games is really a bit overrated. So, I mean, if like you're online, the lady has messaged you and, you can reply, yeah, why not? And sometimes, like time is also the essence, right? And like what Diva has said, you can keep the momentum going. Okay, another question over here. Is it okay to talk to multiple interests at the same time? Angela.
Okay, so it is a good idea, okay, if you are talking to a few people, because like they could be as well, be honest. Okay, so keep your option open, and before any commitment, means like both of you hasn't enter an official relationship, it is recommend to talk to more than just one person. Okay, again, we shouldn't be worrying if the other party also talking to others. That shouldn't even be on your mind at all. Just have fun and talk, and then when they are ready to ask you to be their girlfriend, then you can go for it.
Yep, thank you for that. And now we have quite a number of questions about how to stop texting someone who you're no longer interested in, or like, you know, what if you're not interested in the person? How should you say it in a friendly way? So, I mean, for me, honesty is always the best policy because, you know, like rather you ghost the person. Like I always say to singles, right? I say if you ghost someone, you don't know where you might meet this person again. I mean, this person might end up to be your future boss, or like, you know, your future boss cousin, you know, who knows? It's just, you know, like bad karma, I think, you know, to just like leave things like hanging. So I think again, you know, like after a while, if it's just not getting anywhere, and you can see that the person maybe is interested, but you're clearly not interested. So I mean, just thank the person, you know, like I've really enjoyed, like, you know, the last few dates that we've been on, or like, you know, like it was really nice getting to know you, but right now I think I'm not ready to bring this to the next level, but I'm really happy to continue to you know, get to know you better as a friend, and maybe see how it goes from there, or maybe just say that right now I'm just not interested to be in a relationship. Just keep it short and sweet, and just let the person know, rather than just, you know, like worried about what you're going to say and just ghost the person. So I totally would not recommend that. Okay, so another question: is the person interested in you if he replies your text, sometimes ghosts you, but sometimes initiate the text, however doesn't ask you out for a second date and it's just texting? Diva?
I think he's not very keen, and this could be like textationship, where when he feels like texting, he texts, and if not, he doesn't. So it's very hot and cold. I would say he's not interested.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and another question that we have been getting a lot from all our participants, right, is really about openness. You know, like what is a good icebreaker? What is a good first liner to start the conversation with? So, you know, Angela, do you have some usual tips, you know, like openness that you share with your clients that you can share with our participants tonight?
Okay, it depends on you already know the person, or you just met this person and this is your first message lah. Okay, if this is a first message, for example, you meet a person from online dating apps, usually we would suggest to look at their profile and find one common topics that you have with this person and share something about that. Okay, so if you already know the person, like let's say you already met the person 1 or 2 times and you want to start a conversation, the best way is to, for example, like you can talk about what's the best thing happened to you this week. Okay, and then you just like share a lot.
Thank you, Angela. Another question is how to respond to someone who is hot and cold. So my answer is actually respond in kind. Yeah, because if you know, like the person is hot and cold and then you seem very hot, then okay, I mean, unfortunately the way the world works is that, you know, people will always see whether, you know, like is your value higher or your value is lower. So if they feel that, oh, you know, this person is so keen, you know, like just now we talk about, if you keep asking the person, you know, where you are, you know, why you didn't reply, so that the person is like, wow, this person is so keen, that means, you know, like I must have a much higher value than the other person. So a lot of times, you know, when you just kind of leave it, you just, you know, like I mean, if the person is not going to reply, just let it be, you know, or like when the person just kind of come back to you, you know, don't reply immediately, because, you know, like that's how the person have been like behaving as well, right? And just, you know, let the person do the chasing for a bit, because I think ultimately it needs to be, you need to be on equal footing. Like it cannot be like someone is like so hot and the other person is kind of like playing games. So I think something to think about. And the other thing to also think about is like, do you want to be pursuing something serious with someone who is always playing hot and cold? Because that's not going to be a very good foundation for a long-term relationship. Yeah. Okay, so Christina is reminding us we are actually 4 minutes away from 10. Okay, so I'll just take one last question. Okay, so this question would be for, I think, both of you, okay? So is there such thing as too much emoji? So any thoughts?
Okay, I go first lah. So for ladies lah, I feel like you can send a lot of emoticons. It is fine. You can use, so like earlier example, like we put like a few at once. Okay, so it is generally okay. But if you are a guy lah, I would say choose your emoticons like wisely. Okay, so like the sad face, cannot send too much lah. Okay, but you can still do the cheeky face. Normal smile face can send, but I cannot be too much again. Otherwise, you end up like I'm a nice guy. Okay, without enough like tension or chemistry there.
Oh, I love that. Thanks, Angela. Diva, what are your thoughts?
I think I agree with Angela. It's probably much, it's okay for a girl to send a little bit more compared to a guy as well. But when a guy actually sends emoji, he's usually more relaxed. He's willing to show his true emotion. He's ready to open up. And girls usually probably they might do it just to initiate the bond as well. So don't use too much to appear weird, but a normal, decent amount would be good.
Okay, so we actually have a follow-up question here. What is the top 3 emojis that girls hate the most in text chatting? So I think Angela have said, you know, like not too much sad face or even crying face probably. It's not that we don't like sensitive guys, but I think we just don't want over the top. Yeah. And another follow-up question, is it okay to mirror a girl who sends a lot of emojis? Angela, any thoughts?
Okay, as I mentioned earlier, so mirroring is recommend, but if the ladies send a lot, like every reply, so you're sending emoticons, I feel like as a guy, try not to send every single text with emoticons. Maybe if you ask me, maybe once every 4 to 5 texts from your side.
Yep. Thank you for that, Angela. Okay, so I mean that has been super awesome. I have so much fun. I heard so much from Angela and Diva. So